Good evening, everyone. May I request Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, and Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Vice President SCBA, to kindly escort Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchu, Chief Justice of India, and Honorable Mr. Justice Dipankar Datta, Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mithal, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Karol, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kumar, Honorable Mr. Justice Ahsanuddin Amanullah, Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Misra, Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Bindal, and Honorable Mr. Justice Aravind Kumar to the dais. It's Sir's birthday today. I know. Got a cake for him. May I request Ms. Seema Patna, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchu, Chief Justice of India. May I request Yugandhra Pavaja, Treasurer SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Dipankar Datta. May I request Mr. Kumar Gaurav, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mithal. May I request Mr. Mukesh Kumar Singh, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Karol. May I request Mr. Vikas Gupta, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kumar. May I request Ms. Anjali Chauhan, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Ahsanuddin Amanullah. May I request Mr. Satbir Singh Pilania, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Misra. May I request Ms. Sangeeta Singh, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Aravind Kumar. May I request Mr. Rupinder Mishra, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Mr. R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India. Yes. May I request Ms. Sonia Mathur, Senior Advocate and Senior Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Bindal. Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, Mr. R. Venkatramani, Learning Attorney General for India, other law officers, Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Vice President SCBA, Mr. Manoj Misra, President SCORA, Mr. Devrat, Honorary Secretary SCORA, Senior Advocates, Mr. Parekh, Mr. Rakesh Khanna, former President SCBA, Mr. Manan Misra, Chairman Bar Council, and all other colleagues, a very good evening to you all. We welcome all the new honorable judges of the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is now working at full strength with 34 judges, and it will help in more disposal of cases with many more benches. Honorable Mr. Justice Dipankar Datta was elevated as Judge of Calcutta High Court in June 2006 and appointed as Chief Justice of Bombay High Court in April 20, and elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 12th of December 2022. Besides being an excellent judge, he is fond of cricket and is a very good cricket player also, and we look forward to see him play in the CJ 11 versus SCBA President 11 soon. Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mithal was elevated as Judge of Allahabad High Court in July 2006 and appointed as Chief Justice of Jammu and Kashmir High Court in January 21. Thereafter, Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court on 14th of October 2022 and elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 6th of February 2023. Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Karol was appointed as Judge of Himachal Pradesh High Court in March 2007, appointed as Chief Justice of Tripura High Court in November 2018, thereafter Chief Justice of Patna High Court in November 2019, and elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 6th of February 2023. Justice Karol was practicing in this court before his elevation as High Court Judge of Himachal Pradesh, so it is a great moment for the bar also that he is finally here as a Supreme Court Judge. Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kumar was appointed as Judge of Telangana High Court in August 2008, thereafter Chief Justice of Manipur High Court in February 21, and elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 6th of February 23. Honorable Mr. Justice Ahsanuddin Amanullah was elevated as Judge of Patna High Court in June 2011 and elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 6th of February 2023. Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Misra was appointed as Judge of Allahabad High Court in November 2011 and elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 6th of February 2023. Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Bindal was elevated as Judge of Punjab and Haryana High Court in March 2006, thereafter Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court in October 21 and elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 13th of February 2023. Honorable Mr. Justice Aravind Kumar was appointed as Judge of Karnataka High Court in June 2009, thereafter appointed as Chief Justice of Gujarat High Court in October 21 and elevated as Judge of Supreme Court on 13th of February 23. I also take this opportunity to raise an issue before the Honorable CJI of the genuine requirements of a bar for a bigger library, a bigger ladies bar, and a bigger bar room, as the strength of the bar is now around 15,000. And we are thankful to the Honorable CJI, as he said in the court the other day, that a building committee of the next 5 CJIs comprising of Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Honorable Mr. Justice B.R. Gawai, Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant, Honorable Mr. Justice Vikram Nath, and Honorable Mrs. Justice B.V. Nagaratna have been made, and a long-term planning is made so that continuity is there, and the Annexi building opposite Court 10 can be rebuilt, so the requirement of at least next 50 years can be taken care of. Also, the construction of new chambers in the land allotted near ITU is a priority for the bar, sir. With this, may I now request Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Senior Advocate and Vice President SCBA, to kindly give his welcome address.
Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the Chief Justice of India. Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta, the Judge Supreme Court of India. Honorable Justice Pankaj Mithal, the Judge Supreme Court of India. Justice Sanjay Karol, the Judge Supreme Court of India. Justice P.B. Sanjay Kumar, the Judge Supreme Court of India. Justice Ahsanuddin Amanullah, the Judge Supreme Court of India. Justice Manoj Misra, the Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice Rajesh Bindal, Judge Supreme Court of India, and Honorable Justice Aravind Kumar, the Judge Supreme Court of India. Honorable Justice Ghosh, Aravind Ghosh, whose birthday is there, I wish happy birthday to you, sir, from the bar. Honorable Justice B.R. Gawai, who is friend of the bar and a wonderful person because of whom we are enjoying this auditorium. Honorable Justice Narasimha, Honorable Justice Ajay Rastogi, Honorable Justice Aravind Bhatt, Honorable Justice Oka, Mr. Apurva Sharma, Executive Chairman, Bar Council of India, Honorable P.H. Parikh sir, who is 6-time President of Supreme Court Bar Association and 10 times President of ISKORA, and senior advocates, Rohit Pandey, Joint Secretary, and Yugandhara Jha, Treasurer of the Bar Association. Today, 8 judges are here who have newly taken oath. 8 represents victory, prosperity, and overcoming of all the evils. 8 is the atomic number of oxygen which is required for everyone. My Lord, if we have to mention about each one of you, it will take much time, but I should not leave anyone. Honorable Justice Dipankar Datta is second generation lawyer. His father was also a High Court judge in Calcutta High Court, late Salil Kumar Datta, and his brother-in-law, who was Honorable Judge of this Honorable Court, Honorable Justice Amitabh Roy. Sir has narrated a very good anecdote recently in a function in which Sir told about the fake lawyers. And he narrated a story that a lawyer took a brief and that matter was listed before the court and an order was passed. Order says, no one present, petition dismissed. When this lawyer went to, this client came to the lawyer and he says that you did not represent even me, you are not a liar. He said, no, my name is mentioned here. My name is None, no one. None appears, none appears. He said, my name is None, none appears. So this is so Lordship will say a few more anecdotes. The cricket team of Supreme Court judges has become stronger, and Honorable Justice Chanchud should play with the Bar Association now with a confidence that they are going to win again. Honorable Justice Pankaj Mithal is the third generation lawyer. His father and grandfather both were renowned advocates, and his father was judge of Allahabad High Court. Justice Sanjay Karol is also a wonderful person, and he is a very well-known face of most of the Delhi lawyers. Honorable Justice P.B. Sanjay Kumar, he is the son of P. Ramchandra Reddy, who was then legal luminary of Andhra Pradesh High Court, and who was Advocate General of the state from 1969 to 1982. But when he was practicing and thereafter when he became judge, he remained the friend of the bar. He did not have that position and the legacy of the family into his head, normally which peers into many of them. Justice Amanullah is a renowned lawyer who has been a student of chemistry, BSc chemistry, before joining the legal chemistry. He has been a judge of Andhra Pradesh High Court and thereafter Patna High Court. Honorable Justice Manoj Misra, his grandfather, late S.N. Misra, was an advocate. Father, late P.N. Misra, was also senior advocate. Madam is also there and a lawyer, and both the sons, they are also advocates practicing in Allahabad High Court. Honorable Justice Rajesh Bindal we have seen him in Calcutta and thereafter in Allahabad High Court. He is a wonderful administrator, and I don't know what he does, but he looks very fit. So the secret of fitness can be narrated by him only. Honorable Justice Aravind Kumar, who belongs to an agriculturist and a freedom fighter, late Kumaraswamy. His father was a very renowned man. He is fond of mediation, and he believes that by way of mediation, lot of litigations can be reduced. Sir has a wonderful quality many of us may not be knowing, but he has very good command over Sanskrit. and he can do almost all kind of puja. So whenever in the next Ganpati also, if Lordship do not find a good Pandit, Lordship to take the services of Honorable Justice Aravind Kumar. Lordship, there are so many things. Now these 8 judges makes the strength of Supreme Court complete. And if I have to mention them, then we have to mention with the wordings of Allama Iqbal. तू साही है, परवाज है काम तेरा, तेरे सामने आसमां और भी हैं. ये जो this is the narration of all the judges that they have to achieve so many things. Whatever you did in the High Court, whatever you did in the practice, that matters a lot. But now your real inning starts now when you all are on the national canvas. This new responsibility of you all got in the Amrit Kal of independence is important in many ways. Your every decision and work can change the fate of the nation and the future of new generation. This bar assures Lordships that we will be 100% supporting and be with you all for any cause of justice. Lordship, we have seen so many challenges. Honorable Justice Mithal has written an article on how to conduct, the advocates, how they should conduct. But I think he did not meet Vikas Singh ji before, and without meeting him, he wrote the article. The challenges are high. We have to seek the lessons from the past. And the COVID has taught us so many things. COVID taught us that we all have to be fit. We are spending 7 lakhs, 8 lakhs into ventilator, and we are not spending even 50,000 for our fitness. Lordship, this is the high time when a proper gymnasium and a utility center in which the sports facilities should be provided to our members so that they are fit. Occasional sports they all do when they are having tea and all, but the real sports should be there so that they all are fit. If one member is not fit and he is suffering, because nowadays this sickness is spread from one to another, so even that is a threat to honorable judges. So to keep yourself healthy and fit, you have to provide all the facilities to honorable lawyers. Lordship, there has been so many issues. I don't want to spoil this welcome ceremony, but one thing is there, that whenever we met Honorable Justice D.Y. Chanchud and with the concerns of the bar, he always thought positively and he tried to make a solution. And that solution will be seen very soon. Lordship, I think this is the last function after these 2 farewells are coming, but before, this is almost 3rd last function of this bar. We are going to give a good relationship in the legacy to the next executive committee. Lordship, our demands will never end. And because we believe in you, we believe in Honorable Justice D.Y. Chanchud, that if we demand something, he is the person who can actually do it. And if he says that I can't do it, then we feel sorry. And I say in the words of Saharyar, कि कहिए तो आसमां को जमी पे उतार के लाएं. मुश्किल नहीं है सर, अगर आप कुछ ठान लीजिए. Sir, you have to do something for our younger members. A large number of interns are here. They all are here because they are fascinated by you. Most of them say that, sir, if Justice Chanchud, we can see Honorable Justice Chanchud, we want to be there. We want to present in the function. So you are a national hero for the students. And sir, you have to do something because of which this bar remembers you forever. We remember Honorable Justice Ramanna, who gave us utility lounge, where we are now utilizing for our lunch and everything. We remember Justice Thakur, who gave us ladies' bar room. We remember all of them who have done something for the bar. But we do not find any nice stone in your name, sir. I think that because of suitable to your personality, there should be minimum 10 to 15 stones, which will be really great for all of us, because we want to see our national hero. When he goes from here, there should be something which entire bar appreciates. I am really thankful to everyone who are here, and I welcome each one of honorable judges. I did not devote much of time because there are 8 honorable judges, but I wish all the best for a successful tenure, and I wish everyone that I have already written a letter to everyone, and I requested that, sir, this bar wants your cooperation. And sir, because of your spirit, because of your blessings, and because of your attitude towards the bar, this bar is going to achieve so many things. And when the bar achieves something, that is a kind of judiciary also, that judiciary will also achieve. We will not tolerate anything which demeans the institution of judiciary. Sir, we are 100% with you, and without any hesitation, if you feel like, any one of you feel like that there is a need from the bar to support, we should be conveyed. I forgot the name of Manoj Misra ji, the President ISKCORA, and Manoj ji, we welcome you. I welcome everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pradeep, sir. As you pointed out, the Honorable Chief has a tenure still have more than 1.5 years. So if the annexing building work can start or the chamber work can start near ITU, that will be a big relief for the bar, sir. With this, may I now request Mr. R. Venkatramani, Attorney General for India, to kindly give his address.
I asked myself a question, how am I qualified to greet the 8 honorable judges who carry with them like a bouquet of flowers, multitude of experiences coming from different high courts with varied background, education, family, and accomplishments. Not my age will qualify for that. Probably not even my position as Attorney General will qualify me for that. But I've seen this institution for over 42 years. And I remember after entering Mr. P.P. Rao's chamber in the year 1979, there were a number of appointments in the year 1980. Mr. Rao told me, go and sit in the court and get to know your judges. The excitement, both intellectual and otherwise, of seeing on the bench judges who adorn this honorable court for the first time, with the expectation, what are they going to bring to this court as part of the great curve to be drawn by this court towards constitutional ideals, was the thought which still remember fairly in my mind and fresh in my mind. So every honorable judge who comes here bring with them a whiff of fresh air. And we look forward for that fresh air. A fresh air in the sense that while you enter this honorable court and you try to understand the history of this court towards contribution of the most important values which the Constitution cherishes. We think this journey of value addition is something which you cannot measure. It's very difficult to measure how each honorable judge contributes his value addition. Sometimes it's visible, sometimes it's invisible, but you see at the end of the day, when a judge departs from this honorable court, how they have built brick by brick, invisibly, day after day, by that incalculable hard work they bring upon the bench. Say, as you call the value addition to this court. So 8 honorable judges today virtually constitute 1/4 of the strength of the court. Little less than that, perhaps. And if it probably 2 or 3 more would have been the majority on the bench in this court. Of course, we would not like what critics of the US Supreme Court write very freely about judges of the US Supreme Court, and the US Supreme Court judges keep saying that we are the mostly critiqued part of United States institutions. But we have a different cultural trajectory. Our criticisms, if any, are based on not on an opposition to what a judge individually and judges collectively may do, but we again position ourselves from a point of view of the vast history of our country, the great historical traditions of our country. And I'm sure the bar here virtually captures every part of our country, the great cultural traditions. And 8 honorable judges today constitute from the north to the south, to the west, to the east. And I'm sure that their entry and their presence here for years to come, as I said, will be a great value addition to the institution. And I'm sure the bar's daily engagement with the court on dialogues of great depth and wisdom and contribution will also give them, cherishable memories when they depart from the court. That's why we gather here today, to greet them with the depth of our heart and with the width of our warmth. And I have pleasant memories with few honorable judges. We have worked in the bar. I've appeared before some of them in some high court or the other. And but that's a different thing. But as I said, this is not the time to make great speech making, but I only visualize that over a period of time, that when every judge who is chosen by destiny to be part of this institution, they will soon. I think every day I sit in the court and watch what's happening in the court. The great invisible, nation building which happens in the court. And how every dispute, every disagreement outside the court is sought to be converted into a resolution process. How beautifully it happens in our court. Somebody will have to sit and watch it very closely, and if only we can write it, it will be a great poetry. So I enjoy doing that, and I try to inform myself as how every day is a matter of lesson for me. And therefore, with that very little, what I call a Lilliputian understanding of my understanding, I greet each and every honorable judge who are here today. And I'm sure, sir, that you will not only be part of this nation building, value building, but you will enjoy your presence here. On behalf of the bar, each and every member of the bar, you look at the variety of the bar here. And the younger element of the bar growing over a period of time, bright talents coming and walking into the Supreme Court bar, and every one of them, and greet you. And on their behalf, I too greet each and every one of the honorable judges. And I'm sure we look forward to a great life ahead.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Mr. Vikas Singh, President, Senior Advocate and President SCBA, to kindly deliver his address.
My Lord the Chief Justice of India, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, Honorable Judges being felicitated today, Justice Dipankar Gupta, Justice Pankaj Mithal, Justice Sanjay Karol, Justice Sanjay Kumar, Justice Ahsanuddin Amanullah, Justice Manoj Misra, Justice Rajesh Bindal, Justice Aravind Kumar, the learned Attorney General for India, law officers of Government of India, office bearers of the SCBA, Manoj Misra, President of SCORA and office bearers of SCORA, friends and senior advocates and others present here today. It's indeed a very fine moment for this Supreme Court, which I am witnessing in the last 32 years, probably 32 years of practice here, probably for us the second or the third time, that the Supreme Court is at its full capacity. And I would like to congratulate the Honorable Chief Justice of India for ensuring this to happen. As the learned attorney very rightly said, every judge, when he comes to this court, he brings with him not only a different culture and a different socio-cultural background, but also a very different experience gained from a different high court in a different setting, comes with a different educational background, has dealt with a very different facet of the local problems that arise in the particular high court. And with all this confluence of this experience, we have the full Supreme Court here today, and we expect that all the experience that our judges who have now been elevated to this court and which they bring to this court will bring more dignity, honor, and prestige to this institution in the days to come. I would also take this opportunity, although normally this is supposed to be a felicitation function, but our Vice President has already used this platform to say a lot of things, so I'll not say much, but only one small thing, that I would also like to congratulate the Honorable Chief Justice of India, that what Justice Ramanna said probably could not be done on the administrative side, what Justice Lalit also felt could not be done on the administrative side, and that is why he should notice. Justice Chandrachud has not only been able to write it in a judicial order that he will do things for the bar on the administrative side, but he also got the Attorney General to consent to assist the Honorable Chief Justice of India to ensure that all the demands of the bar, the reasonable demands of course, are met at the earliest. And that I think is a huge victory, because not only has he said this in a judicial order, but he has also acknowledged as part of the bench with Justice Sanjay Karol and Justice Narasimha that bar is an integral part of this institution, is a very important stakeholder in this institution, and whenever any infrastructure development of this institution has to take place, the bar has to be necessarily consulted. And this will go a long way in ensuring that what we have not got in the last 70 years in this institution, we will be getting very soon in our deliberations that are very soon going to happen on various issues concerning the bar. Sir, you will appreciate that this institution has grown over a period of time. Judges have come, the strength of the judges has increased. So has the strength of the lawyers increased manyfold. In fact, the proportion of the lawyers increasing is far, far more than the proportion of judges that has increased over a period of time. And accordingly, the needs of the bar are actually very, very diverse. And we as office bearers of the bar have to take care of the interests of the bar. And if we don't do that, we have no business to be in office. I would not like to take much time on every judge, because that is normally done on a retirement function. But we definitely would like to, as President of the Bar, welcome each judge individually, and in fact urge him, every one of the honorable judge who's on the platform, on the dais today, and who's being felicitated, to also share his views of how he feels his role will be in this institution and how we expect them to add value to this institution. But in my very few words, I'd like to just say for each one of the honorable judges, Justice Dipankar Datta is the legal luminary who needs no introduction. He belongs to a family of judges. starting from his father, late Honorable Justice Salil Kumar Gupta, who was a former judge of the Calcutta High Court, his brother-in-law, Justice Amitabh Roy, also a former judge of this court. Justice Dipankar Datta wanted to be a cricketer, and at one stage in his life, he had to take a call whether to go to professional cricket or to go to the legal profession. He decided to come here, which is to our benefit as an institution, but to our loss as a bar, because he will very soon be playing against the Supreme Court Bar Association, and we are all dreading his performance on the cricket field. And of course, I don't profess to lose, as our Vice President says. In fact, I still claim that we have a very strong team and we will beat them. But definitely, his coming into the judges' team will add a lot of value to the judges' team. Justice Datta has been a lecturer also in constitutional law. He's done diverse kind of things. His commitment to the profession and to work was established when he drove 2,000 kilometers from Calcutta to Mumbai to take charge as Chief Justice of India during the COVID times when there were no flights, and worked there tirelessly. He provided, as in his judicial tenure in the Bombay High Court, he ensured that bedridden people were given vaccination, which was a very welcome thing done on the judicial side. He has also done a great thing for the Bombay High Court, because during his tenure, he could get that land where the new High Court is being planned. And we congratulate you, sir, for doing this great work for the judiciary. He always bats for the fearlessness amongst the subordinate judiciary, which is also a welcome step. The Honorable Chief Justice of India has also said at many occasions that they need to act completely without any fear. Justice Pankaj Mithal was born and brought up in a family of lawyers in Meerut, where also he received his early education. His father, Justice Narendranath Mithal, was amongst the few people elevated to the High Court from the district bar. Justice Matyam Mithal has authored many landmark judgments, including the one on the interpretation of Section 8 of the RTE Act, where he has held that the obligation of the government is not only to provide free and compulsory education to every child, but also to ensure the admission, attendance, and completion of their elementary education, and thus the attendance of a child is also an obligation of the state. I think this is a very, very important judgment, because ultimately it's the human resources of the country which determines the direction of this country, and if the human resource is properly trained, it will go a long way. Justice Sanjay Karol comes from the state of Himachal Pradesh, and he hails from the district Kangra. Justice Karol had a flourishing practice while he practiced in almost all scopes of law, which is constitutional, taxation, corporate, civil, as well criminal side. He was also Advocate General of Himachal Pradesh. He has argued several landmark matters, including the interstate water dispute matters. Justice Karol was a Chief Justice from my state before being elevated, and I had the pleasure of interacting with him in the Patna High Court, both by appearing before him and also and I saw his humane approach towards all judicial problems, including what he used to do on the administrative side. Justice Puliguru Venkata Sanjay Kumar also comes from a family of legal luminaries. He was born and brought up in Hyderabad, where he graduated from the Nizam College. Before he graduated in law from the Delhi University, which is also the same university where I and several judges of this court, including the CJI, have passed law from. His father, late P. Ramachandra Reddy, served as Advocate General for the state of Andhra Pradesh for probably one of the longest periods, from 1969 to 1982. He was elevated as a judge of the Andhra High Court in 2008. And of course, he is here since 6th of February to 2023. Justice Ahsanuddin Amanullah, I have a special mention to make regarding him, because he comes from the same school as my school. And to my knowledge, I also checked up with him. I don't think there has been any other elevation to this court from our school, which is the St. Michael's High School, Patna. And it's a matter of pride for not only people from Bihar, but also people from our school for him to come to this court. He is the first judge to hold a paperless e-court in the Patna High Court. And he has also done a lot of human work in the Andhra Pradesh High Court. The bar always regards him as a passionate and a compassionate judge. Justice Manoj Misra belongs to an illustrious family of legal stalwarts, including his father and grandfather being designated senior, and his grandfather also having served as a judge. Justice Misra was offered judgeship at the very young age of 39, which he had then declined. But of course, then he later on acceded to do service to the nation by becoming a judge, because everybody knows that becoming a judge is always a sacrifice, considering the kind of practice one has as a lawyer. And he took the call of becoming a judge later, and today he's with us. And his legal acumen is all known. I was incidentally at the Allahabad High Court, and already people there are missing him, and they were talking fondly about his tenure in the Allahabad High Court and how he used to dispose of matters. Justice Rajesh Bindal started his practice in the Punjab and Haryana High Court and has appeared in all kinds of diverse fields. He has rendered judgments on branches like constitutional law, trademarks, public interest, criminal law, to name just a few. Justice Bindal is credited with for bringing in the upgradation of judicial system, ushering in technological intervention in the High Court, heralding new era in the High Court. He served as a judge of 4 High Courts, and he brings in a lot of rich experience and knowledge by working in all these different High Courts, and will definitely bring fresh insight into the functioning of this court. Justice Aravind Kumar has been elevated to this court after serving 1.5-year tenure at the Gujarat High Court. Justice Aravind Kumar was started appearing in civil courts, magistrates courts, and appellate tribunal for about 4 years before shifting his practice to the High Court. He was appointed as Additional Solicitor General in 2005, which is the same year where I was also appointed as Additional Solicitor General here in the Supreme Court. Justice, in his tenure as Chief Justice, he took to streamlining processes on the administrative side and undertook several measures, such as initiating signal schools, which was launched jointly by the Gujarat State Legal Services Authority and Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation to provide basic educational facilities to children engaged in begging jobs, with buses converted into classrooms and stationed near traffic signals. According to me, this is again a great service to humanity and to society, and this is a great thing Justice Aravind Kumar has done. I, on behalf of the Supreme Court Bar Association, welcome all the honorable judges to this court and assure all the honorable judges our full cooperation and assistance in maintaining the rule of law and ensuring that the justice delivery system is not hampered in any manner and the rule of law reigns supreme. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas sir. Just got to know that today is Justice Anirudh Bose's birthday also. May I now request Mr. Dinesh Goswami, Senior Advocate and Senior Member Executive, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice Anirudh Bose. It's his birthday today. Just a big round of... Thank you, sir. Normally, a lifespan of judges before the High Court is around 10 to 15 years, and before this court is around, average time is 4 to 5 years. We have all the new judges here. I request all of them to just kindly share their views with the honorable members of the bar. May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Aravind Kumar to kindly address the gathering.
My Lord, the Honorable Chief Justice, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, my esteemed brothers on the dais and off the dais, office bearers of Supreme Court Bar Association, the learned Attorney General, Shri K. Venkatramani, the Bar Council Chairman, Mr. Manan Misra, all the office bearers and members of the Executive Committee of the Bar Association, learned senior advocates, learned young advocates, being conscious of the fact that you will have to undergo the ordeal of sitting here for another 1 hour, 10 minutes. At the rate of 10 minutes for each speaker, that would be 80 minutes. That is 1 hour, 10 minutes. I will just restrict my sharing of my thoughts to 2 aspects. One is, the day I entered this profession on 25/5/1987, my senior took me to the Bar Association where we had a small stall, and he purchased a gown and gave it to me, and he said, "All the best from today onwards." And he said, this is what he said, this is very important, especially for the younger members of the bar. He said, "Do hard work, be sincere, and be honest to the court." And I did not take it that seriously on that day. But after 3 or 4 days, or about a week's time, when he was supposed to argue a matter before the revisional court with regard to an application for amendment. So we were sitting in the library, we took out a decision and latest judgment of the Honorable Apex Court. And it was presented before the Honorable Judge. And I told my senior, "Sir, this issue, according to me, in this judgment is covered against us." He did not say anything. He said, and he gave the judgment to the Honorable Judge and said, "This is one judgment which is against me." And he said, "I will try to overcome this judgment by applying the different ratio." And this was the level of honesty the old generation of lawyers were exhibiting to the courts. And this is what is expected of you, the young generation of lawyers, to the courts, whether in the high courts or whether in the trial courts or whether in the Supreme Court. And everyone in these days speaks about rights. This is my right, Article 14, Article 19, Article 21, Article 32, filing the petition directly to the Supreme Court. Everyone speaks about rights. I am not finding fault with that. I am not saying that it should not be done. But we all have a duty as a citizen of this country. Please remind ourselves of Article 51A of the Constitution, the duties and responsibilities of the citizens. And particularly to the legal fraternity, including ourselves or myself, I particularly draw the attention of the august audience to sub-article J of Article 51A, which says, I quote, "To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation collectively rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement." So all our efforts should be to take our nation to the higher levels. And especially lawyers, you have an onerous responsibility. You will have to acquire knowledge. That is why in Subhashita, before I conclude, I will just say, there is one Subhashita in Sanskrit. It is like this. Arthathuranam na guru na bandhu. The person who wants to acquire money only after wealth, for him na guru na bandhu. There is no guru, he doesn't see anybody, he sees only money. Kshudaturana na pakva na ruchihi. The person who is hungry, he will not think whether there is less salt or more salt. First he will eat. His aim is to see that the stomach is filled. Kshudaturana na pakva na ruchihi. Kamaturana na lajja na bayam. The person who is after lust, he is not bothered about anything. The most important for younger members of the bar is Vidya Turanam na Nidra na Sukham. If you want to acquire knowledge, you can't have going to bed early or enjoying every weekend. You will have to put in more hard work, study, and deliver the goods in the court. And assuring every one of the member of the bar that I will do my best to live up to the expectation of the members of the bar, because I was also a part of the bar for 21 years, 4 months, and being conscious of the fact that what is expected of the bar, I will try to live up to that expectation. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. As you pointed out, the most important for lawyers is to be fair to the court. You can't hide anything from the court, even if a judgment is against you, and how the lawyers can make efforts to take the nation to a higher level. And there's no substitute for hard work, and you can't succeed in the profession without hard work. With this, may I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Bindal to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you, Mr. Kaushik. Dr. D.Y. Chanchud, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, my brother judges honored of the dais. Mr. Vikas Singh had talked about that I had some interest in IT, so I will use that instead of, as brother said, everybody has been allotted 10 minutes time. So 1 hour and 20 minutes, so I will not take much time. I'll use the technology used because he and all other speakers, in fact, have taken all the names who are present there. I'll just copy and paste. So please excuse me for that. That will save some time. All I can say is that when I started practice in 85, you don't get much work initially. So the guidance from the senior was that you always sit in the court when you have the spare time. And I can share that I learned a lot of things sitting in the court only, instead of wasting time here and there maybe. Lot of issues where we had not dealt with any case, we did not get any case, but just registered in the mind only because we were in the court only. We are 8 judges, a bench sort of, headed by Honorable the CJ here. We are on the same page. So what Brother Aravind said that the conduct of a lawyer, I also remember initial days, what was told to us that you can lose a case. You may lose a case, but never lose a court. So you have to always be fair to the court. Whatever is there, whatever law is there against you, be fair. And here I think the responsibility is more, because this is the last court. Because of your maybe proper assistance, or maybe you have not cited the proper judgments or the law on the subject, there may be a bad judgment, which may have a large ramification throughout the country. So the responsibility is more here on us also, because we are at the bench. If we write something, that also has some effect. So we are also trying, we also assure you that we will provide whatever is best we can do, but assistance of the bar is also very important. So these few words I will say and assure that our tenure here should be good with the assistance of the bar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Manoj Misra to kindly address the gathering.
My Lord the Chief Justice, Justice D.Y. Chanchud, my distinguished colleagues on the dais and off the dais, office bearers of the bar, learned Attorney General of India, and the ladies and gentlemen who are present here. First of all, I must thank you all for the warm welcome that has been extended to all of us. Some kind words have been spoken, which we don't know whether we deserve those words, but that has raised the bar of expectation of us, which certainly we would strive to meet them. As far as the thoughts that I would like to share and my experiences, as a young lawyer, when I appeared in a matter, I argued before the court probably I did not argue correctly and the case deserved a better result than what I probably thought it had. I got the relief from the court, but then the usher of the presiding officer came to my chambers and he said that the judge is calling you. I was very worried. I thought that I may have said something wrong. But then the judge was kind enough. He thought that he must disclose it to me as to what was there in the case which I did not present and which got me the relief. He said that this was a point which was there, but you did not argue that point, but make sure that you study and develop argument on that point when the matter comes next. This touched my heart, and this had always been my practice. If I find that there is a point in a case and the counsel may not be in a position to address that point, I try and do my best to bring that point to the fore so that justice is done. At the core of my heart, I always have justice in mind, and I would strive to do my best. As already pointed out, the time is short, and I don't want to extend the ordeal that you may have to face. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Ahsanuddin and Amanullah to kindly address the gathering.
Good evening, everybody. Honorable the Chief Justice of India, my esteemed colleagues sharing the dais with me, of the dais, the office bearers of the Supreme Court Bar Association, SCORA, learned senior counsel, friends in the bar, ladies and gentlemen. For me, it's like a homecoming because I'm a member of your association. And I thought it was a surprise that we assembled here. I thought I would relive old memories when I go to the bar. But probably because of the numbers, it had to be held here. First of all, I think I should reassure our Honorable Chief Justice that because of us, he had to hear a lot of demands coming to him. And yes, some of those we also endorse to be favorably considered. Just slightly off the track, I would like to tell the bar, don't think you are making a demand. It's a right, you're only bringing it to the notice of the court. So don't let it be as a demand from somebody on you. You have a right. What is then? It's just a legitimate right. You just have to somehow sensitize the other side. That is the part of argument also. How you convince, and I think you have a very soft, honorable CJI, so a lot of times it'll be easier for all of you. Coming to the event, yes, it's a long list and time is running out. It was, I knew that the bar calls and we have a felicitation, but yes, it shouldn't be a formal thing in the sense that you have to have a formality. It should be a platform more of getting to know each other. And then sometimes you take off from the extreme pressures of work we have, you have as a lawyer, we as judges. But ultimately, we meet at a very basic level that all of us are striving towards seeing that the society is just and the rule of law prevails. I think in that honesty is required from both the sides. That honesty both in while addressing the court, the honesty and the ability to take comments not too literally and giving benefit of doubt either to the judge's side or the judges to the lawyer's side. I think if we keep that boundary in mind, a lot of things can be ironed out and we can focus on the main issue. Unnecessarily, a lot of things crop up. And talking about the experience, as the Honorable President said, that we share our views and vision and how we have to contribute. I think a judge at every level keeps on contributing. It cannot be said that the judge at the grassroots level is not contributing, as is not a value addition, would probably not be the very correct way of putting things. Everybody is doing, but yes, as you grow, move to the superior courts, your responsibility increases. So I think that comes by itself as you grow in time as a judge. Every day passing judge, the responsibility, you're aware of it. Then the repercussions you see of your orders, they also make you keep reminding you of the position you are in and what role. And I'm a strong believer in one almighty force. There's always a design for something, why somebody has been put somewhere. So that adds to your responsibility and sense of duty. And as Brother Aravind Kumar said, that you have to forget about your weekends. I'm very bad at that. I take life very easy. So now you made me very serious, brother. And in front of everybody, I think I'll have to also now start doing some course correction. Thank you so much and wish you all the best. And the dialogue will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for putting it so well that these are not demands of the bar, but genuine rights of the bar. And you will also put in a word to the Honorable CJ. And sir, we do invite all the Honorable judges informally also to meet members of the bar on Monday and Friday. Hopefully next week you will also come on a Monday or a Friday, sir. With this, may I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kumar to kindly address the gathering.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, respected brother judges on and off the dais, Mr. Vikas Singh, President, Supreme Court Bar Association, Dr. Pradeep Rai, Vice President, Bar Association, other office bearers of the Bar Association, senior advocates present here, advocates, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to you all. At the outset, I would like to, I'm sorry, I forgot Mr. Venkatramani. Mr. Venkatramani, very good evening to you also. At the outset, I would like to thank the Bar Association for organizing this grand function to welcome us all. At this stage, I would like to enter my first dissent. I will disagree with Brother Justice Aravind Kumar, and I refuse to take 10 minutes. I will keep it short. I believe that my work, my judgments should speak for me, not my spoken words. So I will keep it very short. It's just been a little over 2 months since we've all been here. And in these 2 months, there are two things that I became extremely conscious about. One is the responsibility that rests upon us now as judges of the Supreme Court. As judges of high courts, you lay down the law for the state, and to that extent, you take things a little for granted. But here, I'm very conscious of the fact that every word that I use is open to interpretation across the country. So that is a great responsibility that rests upon us. And corresponding to that is a huge responsibility that rests upon all of you, because the quality of our judgments is basically a reflection of the quality of the arguments that you advance. So that is the responsibility that rests upon you, to see that you guide us properly so that we lay down the law for the country at large correctly. So that is a responsibility that I would impress upon all of you to take it very, very seriously. I'm just a few judgments old, just a few more in the pipeline. So as I said, I would like to allow my work to speak for me. And to misquote Robert Frost with a little artistic license, I have miles to go before I can really claim any achievement. And I can only assure you that I will put in all possible efforts to see that I acquit myself on the judgment day that will come in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. As pointed out by you, the responsibility of a Supreme Court judge is huge. As the judgment says, the law laid down by this honorable court is followed by everyone. And the quality of assistance by us is also very important, sir. With this now, may I request Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Karol to address the gathering. He has been a member of this bar. And we just invite all the honorable judges on a Monday, Friday to meet the members of the bar. And he was so happy to meet everyone. He has practiced for around 30 years in this court. He went to a library, cafeteria, everywhere.
Good evening, all of you. On the dais, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, my esteemed colleagues, on the dais, off the dais, President and the worthy members of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Learned Attorney General, Chairman of the Bar Council of Delhi Bar Council. It's a great honor which has come to me personally. And I must say this, that it has come more so on account of the prayers and wishes of most of those who are sitting here, either on this side or on that side. Thank you very much, all of you. 1986, I came from Simla. I was fortunate to have joined the chambers of my esteemed senior, on Mr. Arun Jaitley. Thereafter, I've had the good fortune of working with illustrious lawyers, including those who are sitting here. I'm privileged indeed. I was fortunate to be appointed as the Advocate General and then the Judge of Himachal High Court. One thing which I learned from my esteemed colleagues here was always to be forthright, honest, maintain your discipline and integrity. Thanks to all of you, till today I've been able to maintain that. I shall only say this now, briefly, that I'm still a very, very open person. Please walk up to me if I do commit any mistake on the judicial side or in the course of discharge of my judicial duties. If I write a judgment, you do not agree with me, please walk up to me. If my act and conduct in the court or outside the court is such which is unbecoming of a judicial officer, please walk up to me. I'll be absolutely open and forthright and honest and listen to you. What is going to be my value addition and contribution, as the Learned Attorney General said? And I shall end this by saying, sir, that there shall be none, save and except that when I meet my master, look at the feet of my master, I will do so with delight and not with guilt or remorseness. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. As you always say that this is your own bar. Regarding Justice Pankaj Mithal, it's a personal moment of happiness for me also, as my father had started his career with Justice Pankaj Mithal's father and uncle. With this, may I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mithal to kindly address the gathering.
My esteemed Chief Justice, my brother judges on the dais and off the dais, Learned Attorney General, President and the members of the executive bar, learned senior advocates, other lawyers, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before this august gathering today not to speak, but to thank all of you for giving this warm felicitation to all of us and accepting me and other new judges as part of this great institution. I am not only hopeful, but confident that with your assistance, cooperation, and guidance, I would be able to discharge my duties of this court in a befitting manner, and I will be able to uphold the laws and the Constitution in the cultural background of the country. I am ready to march with you, provided all of you march with the institution, in the interest of the institution, with the high ethics of this great institution. My endeavor will always be to work according to your wishes and that justice is done. With these words, I thank you all once again. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Now, regarding Justice Dipankar Datta, we all know he's a very good cricketer also, as pointed out by Vikas sir also. We look forward to see him in the next weekend for the match. May I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Dipankar Datta to kindly address the gathering.
Honorable Chief Justice of India, honorable judges, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. This is indeed a special day in my life. I'm extremely thankful to the SCBA for organizing this function. As is customary on these days, the gentlemen who are being felicitated, they hear nice words about them. I would derive utmost satisfaction if on 8th February 2030, there is a larger gathering than this, and if the office bearers of the association speak their heart out that I have worked in the manner as required by the oath that I have taken on 12th of December 2022. You know, on occasions such as these, one feels the urge to travel down memory lane and try to search out what can be shared with the audience. Now, as has been commented upon by Mr. Vikas Singh, you know, it was during COVID times that I was asked by the Chief Justice of India to take over charge as Chief Justice of Bombay. Now, COVID was only 1 month old, and my mother-in-law was on the deathbed. I had sought for permission that if it could be deferred, I was being asked to join by 28th. Chief Justice said, no, you will have to join on 28th. I was supposed to fly to Mumbai. The government of Maharashtra was arranging a chartered flight for me. But then my wife asked me, what about me? How do I return from Bombay? Will they arrange a flight? I said, definitely not. Then what happens to me? My mother is there on the deathbed. I can't come back. You will be going with your pilot and escort and a whole lot of convoy. How do I return? It was then that it struck me that I can't take the flight to Mumbai. I had to drive to Mumbai. And I took my son along with me so that he could bring his mother back. You know, I took oath on 28th of April
and my wife was supposed to return to Kolkata within 2-3 days. Unfortunately, on 1st May, my mother-in-law passed away. She had to abort her return trip. I asked her to stay back. Now, you know, I've been a lawyer for 16 years, a judge for 16 years. 32 years is quite a long time. And we have to pass through a grim struggle. It's not a struggle for establishing ourselves, but it's a struggle where we have to sacrifice a lot of things as lawyers, as judges. This profession, the bedrock of this profession is sacrifice. You may be a very reputed lawyer, charging handsome fees. You'd get handsome fees from the clients who can pay it. But then again, when a poor man comes to you, what do? Do you charge that fee? You don't. You sacrifice your fees for the cause of justice. And it is with this sense of sacrifice that we perform our duties also on the bench. I find some junior members here. I would like to share a piece of advice with you all. You know, my son asked me, what is the route to success for a lawyer? So, you know, he's a 21-year-old person who is going to graduate in a few days' time. So I thought, you know, if I go on telling him my experiences, he will just hear through 1 year and it will allow pass through another year. So I thought, let him teach him in the language people understand now. So I told him, if you have to go to a particular destination driving your car, what do? And I told him that, you know, you may not be knowing the particular place where you are to reach. He says, I put on the GPS. Yes, GPS. I said, GPS you must remember for the rest of your life. And this is for all the young lawyers. For us in the profession, G stands for grit, P stands for perseverance, and S stands for sacrifice. If you remember this GPS for the rest of your life, and if you are hardworking, if you are sincere, if you are devoted to the profession, nobody can stop you from reaching the sky. I once again extend my heartiest greetings to everyone present here, as well as my learned colleagues who are being felicitated today. Since I am the senior most amongst all 8 of you, let me, on behalf of you, assure you all that we will try our level best to keep the flag of the Supreme Court flying. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur, Chief Justice of India, to kindly address the gathering.
My very distinguished colleagues, both in the audience and on the dais, Learned Attorney General for India, Mr. R. Venkatramani, Mr. Vikas Singh, the President of SCBA, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, members of the executive of the SCBA, Mr. Manoj Misra, the President of SCORA, all his colleagues in the SCORA, distinguished senior members of the bar, and all the other junior members and invitees here. I'm delighted as Chief Justice that we are at full strength with the addition of the last 7 appointments. When I became a judge in 2000, one of my Chief Justices, who was from the Patna High Court, said that you're the last on the bench of 42 judges of the Bombay High Court as it then stood. So you are the guard babu. We call the last judge to be appointed as the guard babu. We have 7 guard babus in the Supreme Court. But hopefully not for long, because one of my missions has been to ensure that this full-strength Supreme Court is not an aberration, but a regular feature of the Supreme Court. There is absolutely no justification or reason for the collegium to keep even a single vacancy unfilled in the Supreme Court, and that will be my mission for the future as well. These appointments which you have marked today by this felicitation function reflect truly the diversity of the nation. Our colleagues come from diverse states: Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Himachal, Karnataka, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Manipur, Punjab and Haryana, Rajasthan, and Telangana. I'm including both their parent states and the states where they have worked as Chief Justices. 13 states and the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. What a sense of diversity that this brings to the court. I was just doing a little bit of a mathematical calculation, and I had my cell phone to help me do that. All our colleagues today have been appointed between 2006 and 2011 as judges of the high courts. If you make a sum total of their cumulative experience as judges, it works to about 121 years. The cumulative experience, 121 years, 13 states, one of the Union Territories. So this gives you an idea of the diversity and the depth of the experience which our colleagues bring to the bench. It is important to say this because very often we are criticized as the collegium and as the institution in regard to the source from which we make judicial appointments. We are criticized on the ground that we are not diverse enough, we are not democratic enough. I ask myself a simple question. What other tribute to diversity can you have than my 8 colleagues who are present today on the dais? We also have some fantastic cricket players, so the lawyers better beware of the next cricket match. I was in fact delaying responding to Mr. Vikas Singh's request for a cricket match because I knew we were going to get some top-notch cricketers from the high courts. We began this morning with a celebration of Justice Anirudh Bose's birthday. Being a judge is somewhat like being in school. You get into the class when the bell rings and you get up when the bell rings, except that you don't get up until your usher moves your chair and taps you on the back. So we began this morning with a nice chocolate and orange cake, which was organized by Justice Sanjay Karol. He's our most imaginative morning cake provider on days of birthdays. And we now end the day with this felicitation because I'm not planning to go back to chambers this evening. What a beautiful day for all of us in our lives. I just thought I'll spend the next few minutes. We've already listened to all our colleagues and the felicitations for them. I don't want to add to much that they have said. But since a few thoughts were expressed by the members of the bar and as Chief Justice, as the head of the family, how can I not refer to some of these issues, which I'm sure all of you are thinking about? Very often the members of the bar come and meet me, whether it's the SCBA or the SCORA. I met the representatives of the SCORA just last week. And when they put their demands to me, I said my problem is that I can't say no to any of the demands of the bar because that's the lawyer within me which is constantly saying how justified these demands are. But then over the last 5 months, there's also a Chief Justice in me who has an institutional perspective at heart. So there is a little bit of a conflict sometimes in the heart between me as a lawyer and me as an institutional head, and I try and have to balance out both the perspectives. I must share with you that in everything that we do, we consult the bar and we'll continue to consult the bar. Because these offices which we hold in trust for all of you, for the present, for the future, and for the nation. We are planning to address the severe shortage of space in the Supreme Court by putting up an annexee building, a new annexee building. We asked the PWD to draw up an initial blueprint. As someone mentioned earlier, my successors, who are going to be Chief Justices, several of them are part of the committee. They bring diverse experience, very rich and profound experience as part of the building committee. The PWD did the first drawing, which was only for our internal discussion. We've got back to the PWD and said that our mission was very clear and our instructions were very clear. We said that the primary emphasis in the new building has to be on providing adequate space to the most important stakeholders, namely the lawyers and the litigants. I'm conscious of the fact that the bar is in dire need for more space. Therefore, I told the PWD that we have to have first and foremost adequate facilities for the Supreme Court Bar Association, for the SCORA. And though the women lawyers are members of both the associations, at least one of them, I do believe that the women require a space of their own, so we must have adequate space for the Women's Bar Association. We have also said that the entirety of the building, I'm conscious of the fact that in the heat of the summer, as we leave the air-conditioned courts where we are sitting, the lawyers have to go into terribly hot corridors. That's an area which I am also working on. I can't promise you that we'll find a technological solution, but I'm working on it. But most important, in the new building, we have given the remit to the PWD to ensure that the entirety of the building would be air-conditioned, and on every floor there would be waiting areas for lawyers and litigants, so that you do not have to crowd into the courts and you can sit quietly outside the court waiting for your matters to reach and work on your laptops or work on your briefs, whether you are on paper or otherwise. A couple of things which I must mention that we are in the process of doing. We are substantially at an advanced stage in implementing e-filing of cases. But as in all other things that I have implemented in the last 5 months, nothing is done by my fiat. Everything is done in consultation with the bar. Though the e-filing module is substantially designed, I wouldn't say that it is perfect. We thought that we must have awareness programs of the members of the bar so that they can look at the e-filing module, respond to us, and over the last few days we've had some wonderful suggestions. And I also request, I've in fact asked the registry to invite the president of SCBA and the executive committee at one session, and likewise the president of SCORA and the executive committee of SCORA, so that your suggestions can be incorporated into the e-filing module. And I hope that with these suggestions, we held a hackathon a short while ago. We're going to have another hackathon now, and some fine suggestions came from the members of the bar at the first ever hackathon which we held in the Supreme Court of India. We have, as you know, put out the ESCR, which is a free service for the members of the bar. I was conscious of the fact that young lawyers may not be able to afford the subscription costs which have to be paid to any of the private reporters. So we have put out the ESCR, which I would request all the young junior members of the bar to use prolifically, because this is a free service which is available to you. The head notes are now complete right up to 2023. And we are ensuring that we will not fall behind on head notes. So please do use the ESCR facility. Just today, and I hope none of you has to ever use it, the defibrillators which I had requested the government of Delhi to organize have come in, and we are installing defibrillators all across the most crowded areas of the Supreme Court. So God forbid, if you require to resuscitate and save any member of the bar, they are going to be available. The Delhi government and the Union of India were very cooperative, and they have helped in setting them up for us. Every morning I have over 100 matters which are mentioned in the Chief Justice's court. Sometimes the figure goes up to 120. Now I learned my own ways and how we can do that in about half an hour to about 40 minutes. I was once asked, is this not a waste of time for the Chief Justice to be spending half an hour in the first part of the day taking up mentioning matters? That's not the way I look at it. And the reason why I hear these mentioning matters is very simple. I felt that it's important for us to send a message of confidence among members of the bar. That if you have an urgent matter, your matter would be heard and it would be listed at the earliest. Equally important, in that 1/2 an hour, we send a message to citizens at large that if there is something arbitrary which is being done to you, your home is being demolished, or you are being subjected to an arbitrary arrest, there is someone in the country who will give you a voice immediately. Much as we are a constitutional court, and that is why we now have a permanent constitution bench which is running. That is one of my initiatives which I have adopted. We must have a permanent constitutional bench running through the year. But equally, we are a court for common citizens. And it's important for us to balance the two perspectives. I'm grateful to you for all the confidence which you have vested in us as a team of judges. Nothing can be done by the Chief Justice without the assistance of his colleagues or of the colleagues. And my colleagues have given me some great and unstinted cooperation over the last 5 months. I thought I must share with you that since 9th November 2022, when I took over, till the 11th of April 2023, 22,208 cases were filed in the Supreme Court. 104,000 cases were listed, and 22,054 cases have been disposed of. So we are just about 100 cases behind schedule, which we'll cover up in a matter of 2 days. But that's also because we are now listing Wednesdays and Thursdays as regular hearing days, where your progress is slower. But that's where, by doing that, we are listing some of the oldest cases as well. To give you comparative figures, in the 11 months of 2022, 35,791 cases were filed in the Supreme Court. At the rate which we have achieved of filing between the 1st of January and the 11th of April, we are anticipating that the filing would have gone up to about 57,000 cases this year. So we are, as opposed to 35,000 cases which were filed last year, and these were not pandemic figures, 57,000 is what we are expecting to be filed, and I can assure you that we will dispose of 57,000 cases and not add to the backlog this year. Every evening I get a report from the Registrar General, from the Secretary General and the Registrar in charge of listing in regard to the matters which are verified and how many are pending for verification. On an average, 190 to 200 matters are verified every single day, and about 195 are diarized every day. We have set up specialized benches. This was something which was the need for the hour. We have a bench which is dealing only with land acquisition cases. Justice Suryakant is heading that bench. We have a specialized bench which deals with MSAT and compensation cases. Justice Bopanna is dealing with that bench. We have a specialized arbitration bench. Justice Ravindra Bhatt is dealing with arbitration and indirect tax. Justice M.R. Shah deals with direct tax. Justice Gawai very graciously agreed when I requested him to take up criminal appeals as well as the death references. There were about 26 death references which were pending. Taking up death references is not a very simple task for a judge. It is the most difficult part of a life of a judge in a way. But Justice Gawai agreed very readily and said that he will take up and dispose of the death references, and therefore that bench is dealing with that. I thought we must emphasize personal liberty, and therefore every bench in the Supreme Court takes up bail applications in the morning, likewise transfer petitions in the morning. I've taken up all the Section 11 Arbitration Act matters which were pending since 2017. For 5 years, Section 11 matters had not been disposed of. We are down to the last less than 50 matters which are now pending. I don't want to take too much of time, maybe just 2 or 3 minutes and I'll be done, to give you just a broad idea of the flavor of work which goes on apart from the judicial work. I'd constituted a committee chaired by Justice Narasimha for the classification of cases. Many of the classification codes which we had introduced since 2006 onwards had become redundant. There were no filings at all under those classification codes. We need new codes for the purpose of ensuring that we can manage litigation better, assign cases to judges and dispose them off. The committee has consulted with SCORA as well as SCBA. The report, Justice Narasimha tells me, is almost ready. Every day when we have a cup of tea, we'll always leave a little quickly because he has to attend a meeting of the classification committee. Great work has been done by that committee. Justice Ravindra Bhatt is carrying out a disability audit of the Supreme Court premises because we want to ensure that the Supreme Court is disability friendly. It's friendly for the disabled individuals. We have installed now gender neutral bathrooms within the toilets within the Supreme Court. That was one of the demands which I had received, that there should be gender neutral toilets as well. There should be toilets for transgenders. So we have that in place in the Supreme Court. I must tell you that we had a law clerk scheme. The idea, I mean, this is not something which necessarily relates to the members of the bar, but I'd like to share just a moment of reflection on this. I was rather keen that we must have an open and transparent process of recruiting law clerks. Because when we recruit law clerks to assist the Supreme Court judges, we are also training lawyers for the future. That's part of our obligation of giving back to the members of the bar, just as, of course, the law clerks help us a great deal in doing a little bit of our research and helping with some of our speeches. But I thought it's very important that we must have law clerks from across India, and not just those who are connected, those who come with recommendations, not just lawyers' children or lawyers' relatives. We must have young lawyers who have no connections whatsoever, who come and apply as part of a system and who are recruited. So I requested Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, my senior most colleague, to chair the committee. The committee came out with a white paper, based on a white paper which I had spent the whole summer last year in preparing. And we have a new scheme. We are going to have an examination early in May. The idea of the examination is not to test the memorization capacity of the lawyer, because that's not what is relevant in a court. What is relevant is analytical skills. So it will be a two-part examination, multiple choice questions, 300 marks, and thereafter we are going to give two questions over 3.5 hours. One question will be to prepare a brief from a mock judgment, and then a research paper, half an hour to read the exam, and then 2 questions. And the 2 questions, the answer should not exceed 750 words each. So the idea is to test your analytical skills. I must tell you that my law clerks come from absolutely unconnected backgrounds from all over the country. None of them comes from a legal family. And they are doing some brilliant work. So that's part of our process of opening up the Supreme Court to citizens at large and sending us a message of confidence to young lawyers across the country. As part of the collegium, my emphasis has been on promoting transparency in the collegium. As you all know, we put up reasons for the resolutions which we pass, whether it is in terms of appointment of judges of the High Court, whether it is in terms of appointment of Chief Justices, transfers of judges, dealing with representations of judges. Another initiative which we have taken is to dovetail the work of the Center for Research and Planning in the Supreme Court with the Permanent Secretariat of the Supreme Court, which deals with judicial appointments. The Center for Research and Planning has some extraordinarily talented young people, including young judicial officers whom I've recruited. It is headed by an officer from the Punjab and Haryana High Court, a young Dalit student who was my former law clerk, who has come back now from Jindal Global Law University after doing a LLM at Harvard Law School. So we have a set of talented people. We have appointments which will be due in the summer this year when the next set of retirements take place in the Supreme Court. So I thought I'll tell the CRP, why don't we collect data of the top 50 judges in the country? This was never done. So we now have in place data pertaining to the top 50 judges in order of seniority. So we have their judgments before us. We have the number of reportable judgments which they have delivered. The idea is to promote a sense of objectivity in the work which the collegium does. So the Center of Research and Planning will now merge, so to speak, its activities with the Permanent Secretariat of the Chief Justice of India. Just 2 more initiatives and I'll be done. I'll just share them with you very briefly. We thought that we must reach out to citizens in the language which they understand, which is not English. I was the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court for 3 years, and very often the only English which would begin and end was with, "Please, Your Lordship," and thereafter it would be a Hindi conversation between me and the members of the bar. And I was very happy to do that because I thought I could reach out to the members of the bar in language which they spoke, which they understood, which was close to their heart. So I requested Justice Abhay Oak, who is part of the audience. I thought I can share all this because my colleagues are here. Justice Abhay Oak is heading a committee for translation of judgments. We are using artificial intelligence for translation of all the judgments of the Supreme Court. There are 34,000 judgments of the Supreme Court, and we are going to do it for orders as well, prospectively to start with, in all the Indian languages which are recognized under the Constitution. About 4,000 plus judgments, Justice Oak will have the latest figures, but more than 4,000 judgments have already been translated. Most of them in Hindi, but the other languages as well. The scheme which Justice Oak devised was that there will be retired district judges in every high court who will be budgeted for by the Supreme Court of India, but they will verify the machine translation which is taking place under a software which has been provided by the IIT at Madras. We are also implementing neutral citations so that now when cases are cited in the Supreme Court, judgments are cited in the Supreme Court, we should have one universal mode of citation across India. The Delhi High Court first did that. There was a committee chaired by Justice Rajesh Shakdar which did that. The Kerala High Court did that. Justice Raja Vijayaraghavan did that in Kerala, and is Justice Mohammad Mushtaq and a lot of other colleagues in the ICT committee. We constituted a committee in the Supreme Court, and we have now neutral citations in place. I must also tell you that members of the bar have wholeheartedly cooperated. Mr. Aruneshwar Gupta is in the audience. He gave the entire data that he had for neutral citations, which we have picked up. And I spoke to him to thank him that he didn't claim any copyright in the data. He said to me in a jest that, Chief Justice, I earn enough money at the bar than to make money on this little copyright which I have. So all in all, I must tell you that the work which we are doing is a work in a collaborative capacity. I only sit there and facilitate the activities of my colleagues. I give them my ideas. They revert back to me. We share thoughts. All of them, apart from doing their judicial work, do this remarkable work of the court during the course of the evenings. We are going ahead with live streaming as well. As you know, we have already started live streaming the Constitution Bench hearings. In the Constitution Bench which heard the Maharashtra issue, we had live transcripts of the arguments, so that what was argued by the lawyers was instantaneously put on the screen. At the end of the day, it was cleaned up, and we have a whole text of the arguments. And I'm sure we'll be able to, we've already put out an expression of interest so that we can make it now a part of our system. I've constituted a committee of my own colleagues for now implementing live streaming. I began by saying that these colleagues who are on the dais bring such rich experience to the Supreme Court. So I've requested those colleagues who implemented live streaming in their own high courts to chair the committee and to work on the committee so that we can have modalities for live streaming proceedings of the Supreme Court. So I believe Justice Oak is on that committee, Justice Aravind Kumar is on the committee. So many of our colleagues who have this diverse experience. One of the problems which I always felt, and let me conclude with that, was that though we have such tremendous experience as judges of the High Court and as Chief Justices of the High Court, when we land up here, nobody seems to ever tap our experiences in the Supreme Court. We are then reduced only to being judges and nothing else. And perhaps doing work which single judges of the High Court do, as in the case of the grant of bail. So I thought that we must change this pattern in the Supreme Court, because this enormous experience which judges of the High Courts bring with them when they come to the Supreme Court must be tapped into, because this is not the personal turf or property of the Chief Justice of India. I always felt that the Supreme Court of India is a Chief Justice-driven court. That has to change. The Chief Justice, in a sense, is a friend for everyone among the colleagues. Somebody may call him the primus inter pares. It's a Latin word which means first amongst equals. But we do the same judicial work. And I do believe that I must end this by thanking my colleagues who are here in the audience. I'm sorry I took this 20 minutes of time, but these opportunities are rare and it's important to seize them. I must thank my colleagues on behalf of all of you for the work which they are doing in the Supreme Court, not just by burning the midnight oil and making sure that those SLPs are disposed of, not dismissed, but disposed of, but also in terms of upgrading the infrastructure of the Supreme Court. all of you have spoken about the need for the lawyers' chambers. Please rest assured, it is extremely close to my heart. This is something we are all working on together. If lawyers... We created, when I was the Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, we set up the new bench of at Lucknow, which was completely moribund until I took over. And we constructed a large number of chambers for lawyers. When the president of the Bar Association came to thank me, I said, look, there is a little bit of self-interest in it also. So he said, sir, आपका इसमें क्या स्वार्थ है? तो मैंने उनको कहा कि स्वार्थ इतना ही है, when lawyers are occupied, it's always safe for the institution. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure hearing you. Credit to the Honorable CJI that the Supreme Court is now working at full strength with 34 judges, would help in more disposal of cases with more benches. On behalf of Bar, sir, we wish to thank you that the plan is to have more adequate space for lawyers in the Nexi building, and the chamber issue, as you said, is close to your heart. We also wish to thank you for the ECR project, sir, which is free of cost, will be very beneficial for the young lawyers. And a permanent constitution bench would help in disposal of a lot of matters all over India, if the matters are disposed of by the Supreme Court Constitution bench. Then neutral citation, live streaming are again great initiatives, and most importantly, as the Honorable CJI pointed out, that how the administrative capacity of all the judges who have been Chief Justice of different high courts are being used. Thank you, sir. With this, may I now request Mr. Rohit Pandey, Joint Secretary SCBA, to kindly give his vote of thanks.
Thank you, Rahul. Sir, today the dais is representing whole India with the honorable judges from the different part of the country. We are grateful to Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, for accepting our invitation for presiding the Felicitation Function. We are thankful to Honorable Mr. Justice Dipankar Datta, Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mithal, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Karol, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kumar, Honorable Justice Ahsanuddin Amanullah, Honorable Justice Manoj Misra, Honorable Justice Rajesh Bindal, Honorable Mr. Justice Aravind Kumar, for accepting our invitation to attend this function. We are delighted in the hope that the relationship between the bar and bench will achieve new milestone in a Lordship's tenure. We thank Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India for gracing the occasion. I thank Mr. R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India, learned law officers, senior members, and members of the bar, Mr. Manoj Misra, President Skora, Mr. Sinasis Mukherjee, Vice President Skora, Mr. Devrat, Secretary Skora, Ms. Rasmi Malhotra, Joint Secretary, Mr. Puneet Bindra, Treasurer, Mr. Sachin Sarma, Joint Treasurer, Skora, Mr. Sanjeev Kalgaonkar, Mr. Learned Attorney General, Learned Secretary General, and other staffs of the Supreme Court of India, and staff of the Supreme Court Bar Association, press, journalists, and print electronic media, office bearers, and members of the Executive Committee of different bar associations, other distinguished guests, and respected members of the bar for gracing the occasion. I request members of the Executive Committee to join for group photographs.
राजीव जी 30th कल सर मैंने बोल दिया राजीव मैं और सुंदर को भी बोलता हूँ सुंदर ही सर बोलता हूँ ना क्योंकि ही इज आवर कैप्टन
I know, he is the one who organized your...
आपको घर ठंडा करके भेजेंगे ना
चाहे तो नीचे ही है ना ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे या और कहीं है आज
वहीं है, नीचे ही।
नीचे उधर से आप